Hey, I'm Carb Brother. I'm Chris Nelson, President of CARBO. Really excited to introduce a new Ruger PC Carbine A2 tool steel extractor and the A2 tool steel extractor pin, as well as A2 tool steel bolt head pins. So a lot of A2 tool steel. A lot of really durable material there to help improve the reliability of the PC Carbine. If you look on the forums online, one of the most commonly talked about issues is the Ruger PC Carbine stovepipe. And if you're a little new to the game, stovepipes are just kind of the layman's term for failure to eject, failure to extract. And so it's something that's a real major issue. Your weapon's temporarily down for that iteration until you can clear that malfunction. So either you get really good at clearing those malfunctions, or you improve some of these internal parts in the PC Carbine, making it much more reliable and functional. Really stoked about what we're doing here. You guys requested it, so we put it right into action immediately. Anything that's a reliability issue, that's something that we're gonna push right to the top. So that was really clear from you guys. You wanted to improve the overall reliability of the PC Carbine. Not to mention something like this, the PC Carbine will shoot great out of the box, first 500 to 1,000 rounds, and then after that, you'll see it degrade. You'll start to see more and more malfunctions, which is something that we noticed with it. With our own firearms here, after extensive testing, some of these started really performing poorly. I mean, just to the point that we didn't even use them. And that's what really helped spur the innovation. You know, you guys requesting it, we saw it here firsthand too. So it's something that's a notorious problem with the PC Carbine. It is bound to fail after a certain round count, somewhere in that 500 to 1,000 round range, and you can check the forums, see what everybody's saying. So I'd highly recommend just Googling Ruger PC Carbine stovepipe, and you'll see all of it there, all the discussion. So really excited about this. Can't wait to hear what you guys think about it when you put them in, when you use them. Let's get on our tabletop, take a closer look, and show you how we did this. Parts needed for this build: the Ruger PC Carbine Exact Edge Extractor A2 tool steel improvement for your PC Carbine, and then the Ruger PC Carbine A2 tool steel bolt head pins and extractor pin kit. So the two short pins are your bolt head pins, and there's your extractor pin. Both A2 tool steel, the absolute most durable and premium material possible, with improved geometry on this extractor. Really excited to hear what you guys think about these. Tools needed for this build: 1/16 inch punch, 3/32 inch punch, 1/8 inch punch, hammer, bench block, a 5/32 inch Allen key. Don't necessarily need a T-handle like I got here. Little micro tip flathead screwdriver, blue 242 removable Loctite. As always, guys, make sure we're an iPro. Before we go any further, let's take this opportunity together, check our firearms, make sure they're clear. Go ahead and check the chamber, check the bolt face, check the magazine well. This firearm's clear. We'll leave the bolt open because we need to go ahead and take this barrel right off the receiver. So just hit that little lock right there and pull it forward, and that rotation will take it right off. All right, set the barrel down, and now we can focus on removing the receiver from the buttstock. All right, just gonna need our 5/32 inch Allen key to remove these two takedown screws. They are universal. Go ahead and let that bolt forward. Now we'll take the screws right out. There's one of them right there. There's the two takedown screws right there. They are universal. We can set those aside. Now we can go ahead and separate the receiver from the stock. So just push up on the trigger guard like that. The whole receiver comes right out. We can set our buttstock aside. Don't need that. All right. So something I do want to point out really quickly though is we've got some improvements on here, as you can see. So we've got the aluminum extended charging handle that we make here, which is excellent. It's extended and it's wider. So you can see there's a massive improvement there over the little factory nub. All right, so really recommend that. And then we've got our aluminum trigger here with the over travel adjustment on it. Really great addition to what we're doing here. I mean, it's a nice flat face, smooth trigger, as opposed to that plastic, sharp, curved little trigger there. So it helps reduce that length of trigger pull. So your trigger pull is much less. All right, flat face, you're able to get a little lower in that trigger. All right, feels lighter, a little bit more efficient, rather than the old pirate's hook. It's just a really deep curve, all right? It doesn't need to be that deep, and it's plastic. So nice upgrade and improvement there. And then on the mag release, you can see here, we've got a taller, all right, extended magazine release, and it's CNC machined aluminum with that little gator backing grip on there. It's our little proprietary grip, love it, all right? And you got this little piece of plastic, and it fits way down in there, and it's kind of hard to find when you're trying to quickly, efficiently change mags. Just want to point that out, some great little extras there for the PC Carbine. Now we just need to push out these two takedown pins here to separate the trigger guard from the receiver. You just take your 1/8 inch punch, push it either direction, doesn't matter, slide right out. All right, and these are universal too, so you don't have to worry about keeping them separated. All right, here's the two pins right here, same length, same diameter, so we're good to go. Set those down. Now we can go ahead and remove the trigger guard We don't need to do anything with this. We'll just set it aside for now. All right, next step is removing the charging handle so that we can pull out the bolt assembly. Just take your 5/32 inch Allen key once again. All right, and loosen it right up. Make sure you are using that Loctite every time you put this charging handle back in. All right, even the factory charging handle. A lot of vibration and shock here. You don't want this thing coming loose. All right, we'll put our charging handle aside for a second. All right, so here's the inside of the receiver. You can see the bolt assembly here. All right, so you got your hard plastic buffer here, which we're working on a solution for. Really excited to hear if you guys are anticipating this, if you're interested in getting that. We've got the extra power recoil spring in here. Really helps reduce some of that felt recoil. Just makes it a much more stable, easier to manipulate platform. Really love what we can do with that. All right, so you pull up on this buffer just like this. It slides right out. Super simple. All right, put our receiver down. Don't need that right yet. And then we can see this little bolt assembly here. All right, so we've got a new buffer on the way, like I said. All right, we've pretty much replaced everything. All right, so let's take a quick look at the buffer here. You can see how it's all mangled up, pretty beat up. So this is hard plastic. It doesn't do a whole lot to absorb any shock or protect any of the internals. These internals are just smashing up against hard plastic, just galling it all up and wearing into it pretty bad. So we've done a lot of testing in a few different iterations. We've got a molded buffer that's going to have a nice soft rubber but a hard casing to capture everything. We obviously had to capture this recoil spring and guide rod just like it is here at the factory. Something else I wanted to mention, you don't have to do this, I'm just going to pop it out real quick, is this little guide rod retaining clip. This little clip is just hard plastic. Do you guys want to see a stainless steel option? I mean, it would be an improvement, something better than just a plastic clip that could potentially break. You know, it sits here and captures a lot of spring tension. Just something to think about. You know, the buffer will be coming out here in the next few weeks, so just consider that. If you want it, post it. You know, we happily entertain all ideas and suggestions, so even if you think it's crappy, it's good to know. But I'm pretty sure you guys will want that. That's something we've been thinking about. Not to mention these parts, man, you can lose them so easily, and if you want to get replacement parts, 90% of the time you just need to send it back in to Ruger for warranty work, which isn't really ideal. It costs a lot of money to just ship these guns around, not to mention your gun is in transit somewhere, possibly, potentially getting lost, who knows. All right, so push in on the bolt head. You can see it moving just like that. All right, and then you can pry out the bolt head pins. Now there's a much easier way. You can just tip it over and let it all fall out. But I'm just gonna demo it so you can see how it all goes together. So if you don't have a micro tip, that might be the way you do it. All right, so I got one little pin out like that. Pushing in on the bolt head, I'm gonna grab this other little pin. There it is. All right, we can just look at these bolt head pins real quick before we go any further. You can see a ton of wear and galling, and it's absorbing a lot of shock and impact. So that bolt head moves, it's spring loaded. So you think about that, you know, you've got some just low grade steel, you know, they save a few bucks putting in a lot cheaper small parts like this. You know, nobody's gonna know or notice, hopefully not for them. But you think about it, they're in the mass production game. They're doing millions of guns. So if they can save $1, that's millions of dollars saved based on how many guns they're selling. So it's stuff like that, just, you know, cheaper manufacturing, just trying to get stuff out into the market as fast as possible and just, you know, saving a few bucks on cheaper parts, cheaper materials. All right, now let's go ahead and remove this extractor. So you can just push in on the extractor a little bit. It helps take some of the tension. I'm just pushing on the back side right there. It takes some of the tension off that pin, and then you just pry it up with your little micro tip and just pull it right out. And then you'll see the extractor, how that locates, and then the bolt head can now come out as well. And there's that extractor spring. So the extractor right here, there's only one way to put it in, so you don't have to worry about which side is up or down. And then your bolt head comes out just like that. All right, and your little extractor spring here, and now that channel's empty. All right, we set that bolt down for a minute. Here's the factory extractor pin. So you can see it's all worn, not as bad shape as those bolt head pins, but same thing. I mean, this is wearing, and if you're gonna go ahead and upgrade to the A2 tool steel extractor, you really need to upgrade to this A2 tool steel extractor pin. It's just a good idea. You can get away with this factory one for a while, but I don't know why you'd want to. You know, why leave a potential weak link in something that you're trying to improve anyway? So it's a nice little common sense upgrade. All right, so here's the components here that we took out. So I just rearranged them so it's more common sense way of looking at it. So your bolt head and your 2 bolt head pins that locate on either side of that bolt head, and then your extractor and your extractor pin and your extractor spring. Real simple, straightforward. Now we can go ahead and replace these parts with the A2 tool steel upgrades by MCARBO, the exact edge extractor, A2 tool steel pins. Really excited about this. Great little common sense upgrade. Let's go ahead and open them up, keep one of the bags, put the factory parts in. All right, here's the A2 tool steel exact edge extractor. So you can see that improved geometry up here. Let's go ahead and grab that factory one and compare them side by side. So I got the MCARBO here, one on my left. You can tell the difference pretty easily. See a ton of wear on this OEM extractor right here. Yikes. And just how it's kind of really rounded on these edges, and you can see those wear patterns as well. It's just not really ideal. It doesn't have a sharp edge, not very exact. You know, there's some kind of stamped or formed metal. You see how those radiuses all around. It's just, it's mass production. Now these are wire EDM, so these are accurate to 4 decimal places. So that's tenths is what we're talking. So 3/1000ths of an inch is 3 decimal places, and that's the width of your human hair. And then you go out 4 decimal places, it's just microscopic. So super precise, really love it. And this is a good little side-by-side. You can kind of see the difference in the geometry that we did there on the front here. This is the engaging piece during the extracting. So sharper, exact edge, rounded, dull, something. So just prone to wear. And no wonder they're wearing and they're having issues at 500 rounds. You know, it's something that just wasn't really precise or strong enough to begin with. So really excited about this, what we're doing for the PC carbine. Really glad you guys suggested and trusted us to take care of it for you. Really love that. So put this factory one aside. All right, we're gonna put in the new A2 tool steel exact edge extractor. Now let's get these pins out. All right, so you can see we got our 2 bolt head pins, the 2 little shorties, and that long one is the extractor pin. So pretty simple and straightforward. All right, premium material, but other than that, you know, it's the same geometry, it's gonna function and perform the same, it's just gonna last a heck of a lot longer, and just nice reassurance that you're not gonna have any problems with pins. Let's go ahead and compare the factory pins to the MCARBO pins. All right, so we got the OEM pins here, pretty gnarly looking, all worn. See a lot of impact marks on them. Just problems waiting to happen there with these. And then the A2 tool steel, just awesome. Just far superior material. Really can't wait. So let's go ahead and put in the A2 tool steel pins, set those down here, and put the stock pins in a bag. Put those aside. All right, so now we can start reassembling the bolt. So you'll notice you got the bolt head here. All right, kind of looks a little crazy. Really all you have to worry about is these 2 flats up here, here, and here. All right, that's where those bolt head pins are gonna locate. And they move inside of there, and I'll demo that here in a second, but this is the way it's gonna go in. So it goes in like this. You can see the orientation here. Your extractor is gonna locate right here in this channel. So just make sure you got it in this orientation. You're gonna compress it, and we're gonna drop in those pins. I just like to grab it like this, you know, compress it with your index finger, and then take your bolt head pins, the A2 tool steel upgrade, and drop them right in and get them to locate, just like that. Pretty simple and easy. So something to pay attention to, and what I was alluding to with those stock pins is how this bolt head will move back and forth. So they're always taking a little bit of impact all the time. So every time you shoot around, it's gonna be taking some impact. So it's nice to have some upgraded strength and improvement there. Really excited about it. All right, next, real simple, take our exact edge extractor, A2 tool steel, and the A2 tool steel extractor pin and the spring. We'll just drop in that spring first. You'll notice on this side here, there's a channel right here for the extractor. On the opposite side, there's nothing. So the side with the extractor channel, all right, the cutout, spring is gonna go down in that big circle there. Pretty simple. Then the extractor is gonna go in just like this. So we got the working end here, facing the front where the bolt head is. So we just drop in the extractor, compress it on that spring, all right? Line up the holes as best you can, and then we're gonna take the extractor A2 tool steel pin, and drop it right in. If you don't get it all lined up first go, don't worry, just hold it, compress it, all right? And then push on the pin from the underside. We're gonna look up top here. And it's so much easier to get it just right by looking through that hole there. All right, hear that good little snap? Love that sound. And then just double check and make sure these pins are flat, flush, fully locating in the holes. All right, good to go. Perfect. And there's our extractor. I can push on it a little bit and move it. Our bolt head moves. All right, man, we're in business. So we're ready to put the rest of the PC back together. All right, so now we're gonna finish putting the bolt back together. So you just need your recoil spring guide rod assembly with the buffer. All right, all of this, we're gonna slide in the smooth end right here on the bolt and get it to locate in just like that. All right, and the buffer is right in this orientation, just like that. All right, and you can see the pins right here. So those are gonna go facing down. So we're gonna drop it right in to the receiver, just like this. All right, and you'll get to this point where you need to push the buffer forward and make sure it's fully seated. It'll look like it's seated at this point, but give it a little push, and you hear that, just kind of snaps and locates in place. So we are good at this point. Now we just need to put in the trigger assembly with the 2 little trigger assembly pins. All right, remember they're universal, so no need to worry. And you wanna line up the holes just like that. As long as that buffer is located in there properly, the holes will line up pretty easily. So just slide in those pins, make sure they're flush and they locate. Good, man. All right, so we're nearly there. All right, next we'll just take the stock, make sure we got our mag release in there and our mag assembly. All right, we'll just drop it right over the receiver, just like this. Kind of makes it easy just to push down on the table. And then we'll just put in those 2 takedown screws here. And then we'll just take our 2 universal takedown screws and we'll drop them right in. Just get them started by hand first. Don't want to get them cross-threaded. And then take our 5/32 inch Allen key and tighten them right up. And just make sure they're good and snug. All right, good to go. And then wherever you want to put the charging handle, on the left side or the right side, entirely up to you. Just make that decision. And then take your blue 242 Loctite, put a couple drops in those threads. Definitely want to make sure you're using Loctite. Considering all the vibration and shock, you don't want it backing out. That could lead to some damage there. So I got a good healthy amount right there in those threads. I'm gonna drop it right in, 5/32 inch Allen key, and tighten it right up, make sure it's good and snug. All right, last but not least, we need to put our barrel back on. So what we'll do is we're gonna lock the bolt back. So go ahead and pull back on the bolt, hit the bolt lock right there. And then we're gonna take our barrel, all right, it's 90, it's all lined up right there, can it 45, and get those lugs to locate inside the receiver there. All right, push it all the way in, and then we're gonna turn it. All right, and we're good to go, locked in place. All right, man, that's it. Really hope you guys enjoyed that. Since we did take it apart, let's do a quick little function check. All right, place it on safe, pull the trigger, nothing, good. Fire, ooh, love that trigger pull, man. Holding it back to listen for that reset. Yeah, all right, good to go. Well, there you go, guys. Showed you how to install the A2 Tool Steel Exact Edge Extractor by MCARBO. Really love this, the precision that went into this. I mean, this is super precise. We're talking 4 decimal places. It's microscopic. Really love what we did to it. Not only that, but the geometry improvement, all right? It way outperforms the factory extractor, which is just a stamp part, very generic, very mild steel, not very good. All right, everybody's having problems with them. I'm really excited to put these head to head with the factory. So fun, can't wait to see your feedback on it. One major improvement that I didn't discuss in the intro was the way this will eject. This is a much stronger ejection now. So the extractor is helping the whole ejection process. So the factory extractor was barely holding onto that casing as the bolt was coming back to hit the ejector. So it caused problems. It wouldn't really eject that far. It wouldn't really eject that strong. It was kind of like a weak. Now, with the Exact Edge Extractor, it's gonna hold it in tight, right exactly where it needs to be. As it's coming back, it's gonna hit that ejector properly and eject with some purpose, some strength, all right? Not just a little pluh. It's gonna be there, out of there. So really excited about it. Can't wait to hear your feedback. The A2 Tool Steel pins, common sense. You might as well put something strong that's not gonna break and wear over time. No need to save a couple dollars on the manufacturing process. You need to have some reliability with the PC carbine. Really love this. Can't wait to hear your feedback on it. Thank you, MCARBO Brotherhood, for all your ideas and your support. Really appreciate it. You guys have really helped us get to where we are today. Love it. Keep it coming, man. What else you got for the PC carbine? We're doing a lot for it. Really love this thing. Love that Ruger's finally changing up the stocks on these, making them a little better, a little more useful. Thank you, MCARBO Brotherhood, for all your ideas and your support. And as always, happy shooting.